We're back with more Talking Law TV with Christie Register.
Hey, Michael.
Hi, Christie. And tonight you want to talk to us about surviving a layoff.
Yeah, I think that's on a lot of people's minds these days.
Well, a lot of people have been laid off. Luckily, in our area, not as much affected as North Carolina and the textile industries.
Yeah, in Michigan, gosh, they've had a tough time.
So, do most people have a warning they're going to be laid off, or is it just like you show up and there's a ticket in your pay stub?
Often they don't give you a warning because I'm sure from the employer's perspective, they think that if they do give you a warning, then they're going to lose everybody before they're ready to. So sometimes you do get a warning. Like Gulfstream gave them the warning that they were going to have that furlough, which was just temporary, but they got a warning. But often you come in and you're told this is your last day.
Wow, that would be tragic for many people, especially
sure,
the holidays.
Certainly.
What are some good ways to search for a new job?
The Georgia Department of Labor website and the offices is certainly a great place to start. There are online sites, Craigslist, that people often post listings for because it doesn't cost anything, as opposed to the newspaper, which you have to pay a fee for. So I'd certainly check the newspapers, but also check those online sites as well.
Okay. And then in terms of money, what should someone newly employed do to maybe watch out for the future?
Yeah, well, you know, if you are expecting to be laid off or you've just been become unemployed, certainly what you want to do is trim all the fat off your budget and start kind of getting in that emergency survival mode. So hopefully you'll be okay until you do find new employment or until you get back to that income that you were accustomed to before you got laid off. So that's the first thing you can do. Of course, if you get laid off and you are unemployed, you can't immediately find another job, then you need to get to that Department of Labor office immediately and file for unemployment benefits.
It's probably a good time to start cutting things at home too.
Cut what you can. You know, a lot of people, you know, the first thing you think of is, well, you know, I don't have to get my hair done as often. We really don't need HBO and Showtime, so you can cut little things like that. You know, in a lot of ways, being laid off or being in this recession will bring us all back to let's not waste. Turn the lights off when you're walking out of the room. You know, you really don't have to have the air conditioner down to 68. 72 will be comfortable enough. So things like that you can do. Of course, not eating out as much. Watching what you spend. You know, spending your money wisely. I think we'd all find that we could get by on less money, not no money. So that's why if your job has ended and you can't find employment, get to the office of the Department of Labor to get those unemployment benefits coming, because they don't issue back pay. You get paid from the date that you file for unemployment.
Do you find as a bankruptcy attorney also that people try to maintain their lifestyle and credit?
I think sometimes people do, and just, you know, it's difficult once you get accustomed to doing things. You know, we all have habits, and once you've established those, especially if you have children and you don't want your children to know that you're having money problems, your tendency is to keep that up, when really the best thing to do is to cut back. And you know, I've got a 15-year-old daughter, and I talk to her about the economy and say, you know, listen, this is the time to be smart and frugal instead of being wasteful.
Okay. Do I continue to pay my credit card bills?
I would put that at the bottom of the list. You prioritize your bills. Obviously, your rent or mortgage is at the top of the list. Your utilities, you got to have car insurance. So pay those. Your essentials get paid first. If you can pay your credit card bills, then that's great, but you certainly want to put that at the bottom of the list. That survival mode that I was talking about includes prioritizing, paying what you absolutely can't live without, and then the things that fall later, pay them if you can.
Yeah. Do you pull the kids out of private school?
Boy, that is a tough one. That's certainly an option. if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. And that's a tough part about being a bankruptcy lawyer is sitting down with people and talking about the things that you can live without and the things that you can't. None of us want to do that, especially if you live in a place where the public schools are not a great option, or if you live in an area. But you got to keep a roof over your head.
Yeah. What about tapping into your retirement funds and savings?
Retirement funds, I would make that an absolute last resort, because hopefully we're going to get old one day. And a lot of us, you can't work. So I tell people, absolute last resort. Sometimes that is the last resort, and people are about to go into foreclosure with their houses, and then they have to get that money. So if you have to do it, then you do what you have to do. But if you can avoid it, then that's the best thing to do. Leave that money alone.
And what do you do about health insurance when you no longer have an employer?
Often you'll have the choice to keep that insurance through COBRA, but that is so expensive. So for a lot of people, it's not a good option. But if you can make it happen, obviously that's very important to have health insurance. But that's one of those things you can live without, as opposed to a house and keeping your utilities on.
By virtue of being unemployed or laid off, are you eligible for Medicare or Medicaid?
You may be. And that's a thought, especially if you've got children. Often children will qualify for peach care more easily, I think, than adults may qualify for Medicaid. So that's something that you could look into.
Now, are you going to be disqualified because you live in a nice neighborhood?
Often your assets, or if you own real estate, or the type of cars you have, or how many vehicles you have, may disqualify you.
So you could you could live in a really nice house with no furniture and still get disqualified.
Often that is the case.
Okay, and what else could someone do to help survive a layoff?
Just be smart. Get out there. Stay on top of the job scene. If there are job fairs, go to job fairs. Department of Labor is there waiting for you, free of charge. All you have to do is go down there. Lots of employers take applications online. You can do that, at midnight in your pajamas. This is a tough market, so now is the time to really work hard. If you're unemployed, make finding a job your full-time job.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Christie. If you've got a question for Christie, you can reach us through our website at talkinglawtv.com or through our toll-free number at 888-2037-LAW. We'll be back with more right after this.